Welcome back to another lesson of Microsoft Excel. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to make a mark sheet in Microsoft Excel. Well, this is very simple, but you just have to follow a lot of steps, okay? And make sure to see the video from the beginning to the end so that you don't face any problem later on. So without any further ado, let's just start on by adding in our database. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is select on this. I'm going to do is type in a cell number. Then I'm going to do is type in subject, as this is a mark sheet. What I'm going to do is type in mark, or let's say letter grade. Then I'm going to do is type in the point. Then here is going to be our GPA without or subject. Then I'm going to do the last one is going to be our total GPA. Okay, I'm going to do is extend these so that I get a better view of it. What I'm going to do is make sure to keep all of these values centered. I'm going to do is increase them a bit and both. Now, as we have this result over here, or as we have all of them over here already, what I'm going to do is start putting in my serial numbers and then my subjects. Let's say here my subject, I'm going to do is put in 8. Let's just start off with 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now I'm going to put in my subject name. Let's say I'm going to type in English, Geography. Let's say novel. Do is put in botany, physics, and then there we go. We have all the subjects ready. What I'm going to do is put in my mark. Let's say I'm going to type in 78, 90, 67, 57, 68, 90. Let's say put in 66, 55. There we go. We all have it. Now the last thing, or the starting of putting in your formula, is going to begin from over here. Now here, what I'm going to do is going to be selecting on this first, and I'm going to do is keep them to be decimal, or let's say I'm going to keep it to be like this. And here I'm going to do is, let's say I'm going to keep it to be right aligned or maybe left aligned. What's a bit better than the other ones, right? I'm going to do is keep them to be left aligned too. There we go. We have our values. Now I'm going to do is start putting in my letter grade. Now, how are we going to start it? Type in equal, and then you have to start it with the if function. Type in if. Now, what I'm going to do is start off putting in my own values. Now I'm going to do is type or select the specific cell, C2. If it is greater or equal to 80, it should tell me that it is A plus, okay? I'm going to do is double quotation, A plus. Double quotation, close it off. Now I'm going to do is copy this same thing. I'm going to do is, instead of this, I'm going to do just copy this so that I can use it a couple more times over here. Put in your comma, and you have to put in another. Let's say you have to put in if over here. If inside of this. And I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure to copy all of it. Now change the value. Let's say if it is 70, greater or equal to 70, it should say only A. I'm going to do is copy the whole thing again. Let's send the copy up till here, Control C. Now after the bracket, make sure it doesn't close the bracket. I'm going to do is close this bracket off. Put in another comma. Put in another if function, which you can see from over here. Now C2, if it is greater or equal to 60, type in 60, it should tell me A minus. I'm going to go off over here, put in a comma, and then put in that same function or paste it again. Now after 60, what you're going to do is, if it is 50, it should tell me it is a B. Or let's say B. Okay. After that, put in another comma. Then I'm going to do is put in the function again. If it is greater or equal to 40, 40, then it should say C. Put in the comma again, Control V, and if it is equal or greater to, let's say, 30, okay, I have to change this value to, if it is 40, no, 30, it should say fail, okay? Then after you're done, what you're going to do is close out the parentheses and see how many times you've opened it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So make sure to close it up 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. You'll basically see the black, bracket appear. Then you're going to do is press on enter and you can see the values over here. Now use the fill header to get the results of each and every one. You can see it over here. Now if I put in, let's say, 30, you can see the F has appeared up, but I don't want that. Let's say I'm going to type in 70. There we go. We have our result. Now we can do the same thing with our grade point. What I'm going to do is first thing, I'm going to copy all of this up. Control C. I'm going to do is keep it just the way it is. And make sure to paste it over here. Now what you're going to do is you have to put in the grade point. Now if it is A plus, it should tell me that the point grade and how it is. Okay, we're going to put in the GPA. If it is 80, then it should tell me that it is a 5. I'm going to put in 5. Then if it is 70, it should tell me 4.5. 4.5. If it is 60, it should tell me 4. If it is 50, it should tell me 3.5. 3.5. There we go. 5, 4.5, 4, 3.5. And then here we have is 3. And then if it is an F, it should tell me a 0. Okay, there we go. We have it. Hit on enter and you can see the GPA or the points of each and every value. And you can see that how it adds up. Okay, it's going to take or use these cells as a reference and give me the point of each and every value. Now you're going to do is sum all of them up. You're going to do is click on equal. And what you're going to do is select all these cells plus this one plus this one. We're going to do the same thing over and over again. Do is E2 over here. This one plus this one plus this one. I'm going to do the same thing, do it over and over again until you get the results of each and every one. And the last one is this. Hit on enter and that is how it should be. But you can see that this appears to be something like this. What you're going to do is make sure to sum it up, and then what you're going to do is divide it by the number of subjects you have. So you're going to click on it again and equal. I'm going to do is put in the sum function before it, sum. What I'm going to do is close this off. Now after closing this off, you're going to divide it by the specific number. I'm going to do is close this parentheses. Now divide it by the number of subject. Now we have is 8. So I'm going to type in 8. Hit on enter and that will be our GPA without the fourth subject. Now what you're going to do is if you want to remove the decimals, you can do that too, but I prefer keeping it to be something like this because it gives you the exact value and the exact GPA. But if there is more, decimals, you can remove it or you can keep it just the way you want it to look. Okay. Now what we're going to do is get in another value. We're going to put in our fourth subject right over here. What I'm going to do is type in over here. I'm going to type in fourth subject. Select on it. I'm going to keep it bold, a bit bigger. There we go. Now here I'm going to put in 9. And here I'm going to do is put in my subject. Let's say this is going to be any of the subject. It could be anything. Let's say anatomy. There we go. We have our another subject. I'm going to do select this and keep it left aligned. I'm going to do the same thing over here, put in your own mark and then put in or use the specific value right over here. You can copy it up too if you want to, but you can also keep it the way you want. Let's say 90. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Use the fill header. There we go. I'm going to delete this value and we have it. I'm going to use the same thing over here, delete this value, and there we go. Now I'm going to do is get the values of that specific cell too. But first thing I'm going to do is merge these cells up, merge, and try keeping it at the center. There we go, 4.25. Now I'm going to do is get the specific value of this two of the fourth subject. I'm going to do is select on this. I'm going to do is merge them up. Do the same thing over here so that it looks a bit better. Merge, merge, and also merge them. There we go. I'm going to do is keep them to be at the center. Looks a bit better. Center. Okay, there we go. We have it. Now the thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting in my GP. Okay, let's say I'm going to do is select these two. Okay, GP, and then I'm going to do is above 3. I'm going to put the same thing over here. You can merge it up if you want to. I'm going to type in if. I'm going to do is select on the specific cell equal if. Then I'm going to do is select this cell, which you can see from over here. Select this, and then if it is greater than 3, okay, which you can see over here, greater than 3, comma, and then select the specific cell again, E11 minus 2. There we go, comma, and then 0. Close the parentheses off, and then hit on enter if you want to. And you can also put in decimals if you want to, but as I don't have decimals, it's going to give me the specific value. But if you have decimals over here, you can put in the decimal if you want to. I can also use it like this. I'm going to do is select on this and make sure to use decimals according to your desire. But I'm going to keep it just the way it is. So as I have the exact answer, what I'm going to do is going to be, if you change these values up, it's going to turn different. Okay, it's going to be a bit different from over here. So let's say I'm going to do is type in 40, and you can see this is 1. So I'm going to do is keep it 90, and there we go. We have our answer and also our GP. Okay, now we're going to do is get the grade point. I'm going to do is select all of these up and merge them all together. Now here, what we're going to do is type in equal, and then put in your function. Let's say I'm going to sum it all up. I'm going to do is sum up the specific grade points, which I have over here. This one and the others. I'm going to do select all of them up all together. You can also select them individually according to your desire. So I'm going to do the last one also. I'm going to put in a comma. Or let's say I'm going to do plus this value. Or you can do it like this. Put in a comma and select this specific cell. And after you're done, what you're going to do is close the parentheses off and divide it by, now you have 9 subjects. But even though this is the 4th subject, so it doesn't count, so I'm going to put in 8, hit on enter, and you can see it will be like this. But what you're going to do is use each and every of the cells. I'm going to do is cut this one off. Let's say I'm going to do is select this, plus, then I'm going to do the same thing over here, plus this. Make sure to do it individually. Select them. There we go. We have it. And now we have our GPA with the 4th subject over here. Now what you're going to do is, obviously I'm going to do is take all of these off. I'm going to do is Control X and make sure to put it underneath. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to do is fix all of them up again. Do is merge these cells. Merge. Merge. The same thing on all of it. Merge them together. There we go. We have our answer. I'm going to do is select on these. I'm going to do is merge them together, put it at the center, and I'm going to do is type in Marksheet. Select it. I'm going to do is increase the size, make it bold. I'm going to do is use a fill header over here, or maybe some different color. Let's say I'm going to put in yellow. What you're going to do next is going to be selecting the headers and then changing them. Select the headers, which you have over here. What I'm going to do is, obviously you can increase the size if you want to, but I already have it increased. So I'm going to keep it just the way it is. Okay. Then I'm going to do is select the whole thing, and I'm going to do is add the border. Select on this, all borders. There we go. Now it looks a lot more better. Then you can also fix up this one. Let's say I'm going to do is select all these up to here, merge them together. There we go. We have our 4 subjects. I'm going to do is keep it left aligned and looks a lot more better, right? Keep it the way it is. There we go. So hope you learned everything in this lesson on how you'll be able to make a mark sheet. And even if you change the values over here, the grade point is going to change on its own. Okay, 4, there we go. It's going to keep decreasing. So thank you for watching this video up till the end. And now let's move on to our next lesson of Microsoft Excel.